Welcome to the best sports betting show on the planet. This is WagerTalk Today. I am your host, Andy Lang. It is Football Friday. Buckle up, guys. We have a ton to get to. It's our biggest football show yet. NFL, college football. We're going to give you guys a little MLB. Kelly in Vegas is going to join us to do the SuperContest. Dan and I will do Survivor at the end of the show. And, of course, we're going to start with Gianni to give us the Steam Report. Teddy Covers is going to join us to do NFL and college football. And we're bringing the Sell Me segment that me and Kyle did for UFC. We're going to bring it to the NFL. Me and Teddy are going to do the Sell Me segment where we get assigned a game and a team, and we got to make the case on the spot. Marco's going to join us. He's going to break down his Steelers and Jets, OK State, and Oregon. And we're going to do a Wing Sauce of the Week segment. You don't want to miss it. Hit the like button, guys, and thank you so much for joining us on the Friday. No time to waste. Let's bring in Gianni, and let's get this Steam Report started. Gianni, let's start with college football, and then we'll move to NFL. What are we seeing in college football so far?
Busy, man. And if you're a subscriber, don't be afraid of the volume. All of it is sharp stuff. At my controls right now, I have so much counts that I'm looking at, and there's just so much confirmation I have to share it. Again, I don't urge anyone, unless they're bet sizing correctly like I'm doing, to fire on everything. But it gives you a lot of information, and for those handicappers out there, lets you know some of the sides that help you confirm. But here's what we're looking at in college football. Tonight, I have a 3-pack up at WagerTalk, 3 premium plays, a 4% and 2 3%. I'll give you one of the 3% that I just sent out this morning. It's on the added games. We've been doing really good with those. We bet Boise State. We have Boise minus 29.5 and minus 30. That's why you're looking at a high of 31. On those added games, I'd be good laying up the 30.5, which is a point off of what I got them down at. Again, if you saw the results of those extra games, they do really, really well. So Boise State tonight, looking at the other games, again, good two-way action in James Madison and Louisville, and Northern Illinois got steamed at 17. Not much public money on that game, except for the under. The under sticking out a lot. Looks like 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 of the recreational bettors are on that under in that Northern Illinois Maryland game. That sticks out the most. Out of both those games, the one bet that really sticks out is the under in Northern Illinois and Maryland. Now, real quickly, couple Saturday games. I shared a lot of steam on bet on it, shared some here on WagerTalk. A total came out last night that I was going to send to subscribers, and it just moved really quickly. And Teddy let me know why before I got on today. And that was 4-11, San Diego State, Washington State. Last game on the board. I saw it get hit in the accounts at over 45. I went to bet over 45. 45 was gone. It was now 46. So, okay, at 46, I could still do a little something with it. Look up again. Now it's 46.5, 47. I'm like, all right, that one's gone. Again, just don't chase those bad numbers. Even if there's 55 points scored in the first half, I just don't think it's betting from a position of strength. So be careful when these numbers move. I'll give you a couple more for Saturday that I saw multiple groups on. 325 Liberty minus 6.5. Now you got the public on the same side, public and the wise guys. If you don't see that one at minus 7, I worry a little bit there. I talked about Illinois game 335. That was bet on the money line though, not laying the points with Illinois. Took Illinois up to minus 150. A couple of the big favorites that got steamed as well. 362 Colorado minus 23.5. 340 Texas A&M minus 30.5, and 356 Cincinnati minus 21.5. So those were 3 big favorites that got some money. A couple of the dogs, big dogs that got some money. I'll give them to you right now. Troy plus 31.5. Oklahoma State plus 28.5. And I bet 2 first halves this morning. Those first halves, those first quarters have done really well for us. So why not? I love you guys. The weekend's coming up. I'm going to give you both of them that I sent subscribers this morning. One was a 4%, one was a 3%. They have more than enough volume in there to be happy. And if you bought the Saturday package, it may not be in there because for packages, I'm limiting. For the daily guys, I'm trying to hold it, to maybe 10 bets max. So if it's not in there, you got a little bonus here. It's 1317 Florida International plus 26 first half. That's Florida International plus 26 in the first half, good to 25. And then 1319 Kent State plus 30 in the first half. So that's Kent State plus 30 in the first half, laid up to minus 115, 120 to get 30. And also Florida International, they came back, took 25.5 as well there. That seems to be the bigger bet of the two. So there's some college football action, premium action for you for Saturday.
By plus 30, you only need one stop.
That's it.
Just stop
the
them
first
once
half,
or hold them
that's
to a
it.
field goal. You're good.
That's it.
Just run,
That's all you
run
need.
that clock down, baby. Use
Nope.
the entire play clock, though. We can take a look at NFL here. I mean, these lines have been out for a while. I guess the biggest one that jumps off the board is this Washington and Giants. You know, it's all the way down to minus 7.5. That's a pretty monster move on that one. What else are we seeing in NFL spreads and totals?
Yeah, well, tonight's a good day to be a book. You're getting good two-way action from the recreational bettors. I know there was some sharp money at 3.5. You know, they're going to pick off that 3.5, but I still see it available out there. One of those key numbers that you get some sharps that want to get the best of, especially if they think the line's going to move. But I'm surprised it's still sticking around 3, juiced even on the 3. Sunday, forgive me. Here's what we're looking at. Let me just pull up the lines real fast. So we look at the latest updated lines. Yeah, you touched on the Giants and Washington and the Giants. Giants got steamed. They got steamed at 7, got steamed at 6 as well. But more than enough Commanders money to offset that risk. That's what you got to remember. The public money is going to far outweigh any sharp money. Maybe not yet, but come Sunday, that will be the case. And rest assured, one of the most one-sided teased games are going to be the Washington Commanders. They will be teased down to a pick-em. They will also be on a lot of money line parlays. Raiders, Patriots, a lot of sharp money on the Raiders up to that plus 3.5. That's obvious there. We saw two-way sharp action on Buccaneers and the Falcons. Again, these NFL lines are so tight. Once they start moving, I'm never surprised to see two-way action from different groups. I got one group that bet me Bucks -1. I got another group that bet me Falcons plus 2.5. Same thing that happened with the Niners game. I got one group that bet me 49ers on the money line. I have another group that bet Seattle plus 2.5. Another game that stuck out just like that was Bears and Minnesota, where you got the Minnesota Steam early. Since then, I have seen the Bears in the accounts as well. So you get a lot of two-way action in the NFL. I think you'll get a lot of sharp money come Sunday, because this is these week 1 lines that, you know, been up there for a while. And I think once that public money all gets to the window, you'll start seeing some line movements forced on the books by the public. And I think then you'll see a lot of wise guy money come in, especially on a lot of these first quarter bets, stuff like that they take advantage on game day.
So this Giants-Washington game, is this sharp money that's moved this thing? I mean, minus
Yeah,
7.5 down to minus
the Giants.
5.5. That's a monster move. That's a huge move.
The Giants. I'm on him. I gave him out to my subscribers. I like the Giants as well. Again, I expect that, season-wise, you expect a little regression from Washington for them to take a step back. But it seems a little case of overvalued versus undervalued. They tend to play close games, even regardless of the kind of season either team has, kind of like Eagles, Dallas. Throw, recency out the window, because you go over history, it's going to be, balanced results. And I think that's why you're seeing Commanders and Giants split, with the public on one side, the sharps on the other. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Cincinnati and the Browns. Cincinnati is so much exposure is piling up on Cincinnati. And every year, the betting syndicates will pick always that one bad team that they ride, where on paper, this team's so much better than their results. And that same team will cost them week after week after week. I'm interested to see what that team is this year. So when you see what that team is, cross them off your list. Cross them off your list for Survivor. Cross them off your list for value, the over, undervalued, premium attached. Hearing words like that, because there's going to be that one team that they're saying on paper so much better than they really are, but just continues not to cover spreads. We're going to find out who that is within a few weeks. But I'm interested to see if Cleveland's that team, because I'm starting to hear a lot of sharp bettors saying, how high is that line going to get on Cincinnati? When should we bet Cleveland? When should we bet Cleveland? I don't know if you should ever be betting Cleveland, but this Sunday may be a good opportunity if that line keeps climbing, because there's just so much. I'm surprised it's 5. That's what I'm saying, that you're seeing already sharp picking off that 6 on Cleveland. So I don't know if they're the sexy dog for sharp bettors.
That's a great. All right, let's keep an eye on that. The team that on paper should be good and just can't quite cover the cover.
Yeah, because there's not enough. There's not a long enough season, Andy, like in baseball, for them to play up their capabilities. Like in baseball, that happens. We talked about Detroit. They're not a 70% win team. We knew that even after 30 games, when they were winning 70% of their games, we knew that wasn't going to be sustainable, but we had a long enough season for them to regress. In football, that doesn't always happen. So there's some of these teams that are, according to, all the quants, are just so much better on paper, and they'll bet these teams week in and week out. And there's just not enough time for them to regress or progress towards that mean. And I've been beaten like that a lot, earlier on in my career. Now I know to just avoid those bad teams, the Jacksonvilles, they're going to cover 2 or 3 games, 5 games in the season, but I don't want to have to pick which 3 or 5 games they end up covering. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What was the Titans were the team last year that couldn't cover a spread to save
exactly.
Will Levis was just,
and the sharps are betting them. They're betting them, and they're making arguments like, oh, they should only be getting 7, but they're getting 10, and it's still not enough.
If only we knew what that team was going into the season. All right, we got a lot of information to digest here, real quick. Anything in baseball today?
Yeah, a couple games, not a lot of action so far. It's a little early, but Yankees, first game that got steam today were the Yankees. I'll tell you what I sent out to my subscribers. I sent a 2% on the Yankees minus 125, and I sent a 2% on the Yankees minus the 1.5 run at plus 150. The Yankees, because I saw the Yankees get hit, multiple accounts. I already like that side, and I even saw run line steam. So that makes me confident, especially on the money line. 904 under 8.5 Milwaukee, Pittsburgh, 910 St. Louis minus 112, 919 Minnesota plus 120, and finally the over 9 in Oakland and LA. So a lot of action over these next few days, man.
You can fade Kyle Freeland again today. I think he's pitching again. That poor guy. They just
3 months.
Send him out. Send him out. He gets shelled. Go back. All right, we'll give you another home. Give you another home start to get brutalized out there. And finally, let's talk a little bit of UFC. If you have anything, I like Baralo a lot in the main event. I'm stunned at the money that's coming in on Saint Denis. That's got to be local money. Just from being on the French card. Anything jumping off to you?
Yeah, and here's what the Saint Denis. The argument from the guys that bet Saint Denis, because I know a couple sharp guys out here that have a plus 200 ticket in their pocket, and their argument is Ruffy hasn't faced the offensive wrestling he's going to face on Saturday night, meaning he's got 100% takedown defense, but he's only faced 6 takedowns. And Saint Denis averages about 8 takedown attempts per 5 minutes. The problem is, are you going to have 5 minutes to attempt those 8 takedowns? Because every round starts standing, and standing against Ruffy is a bad situation for Saint Denis, whose weakness is his chin. And that's where I'm having the problem. If you have a plus 200 ticket in your pocket, maybe you could argue that 1 out of 3 times Saint Denis is able to secure a takedown and win one of those rounds. And as long as he could get at least another close round, maybe the French judges will give him a split decision. I think that's the argument there. But where the line is now, I just can't see it. I think it's favorite or pass now. In the main event, the sharp bettors agree with you. They're on the Bahayo side. That's why that line's climbing in his favor. I bet the over there. It's a little juicy. I laid minus 175 to go over. I just thought minimum 2 out of 3 times it goes over. Anything less than 200, I was going to bet it. Even at middleweights, even at 4.5. We know long-term going over 4.5 has been plus ROI, double digits. But I just think these two guys are just so durable. And I don't think either has the striking to take the other one out. And I think both have enough defense on the mat to not get subbed either.
I get it.
Like they could stay safe if needed.
Yeah.
Like the decision.
I would go back to that Ruffy fight. I'll just remind everybody that Ruffy trains at the Fighting Nerds and has been practicing his takedown defense for 2 months.
Yeah, and they're getting better, bro. They're getting better at it. They're getting better and better and better at defending it. You're seeing that. They're working on
absolutely. All right, great stuff, Gianni. Great week of segments. What do you have up for everyone? I know you got a ton going into this weekend.
I do. I got the 3-pack for tonight in college football. I have a Saturday package up. I haven't fired a 5%. We might if something gets upgraded or something bigger comes in. But for me, what's the difference between a 4 and a 5? It's just 1%. It's actually 0.25 more. So I got a lot of 4% in there. I have the Sunday NFL as well. We started off 2-0 in the NFL, currently number 1 in college football. I told you this football season was going to be really good. I'm extremely confident. Jump on board. Head over to WagerTalk.com. I'll put in some free plays as well. Again, yesterday's free pick 1. It was a soccer bet. That was a premium. I only put premiums on that free picks page, so make sure you check that out each and every day. And the Steam Room Sunday, we're going to go 2 hours heading into the kickoff of the NFL games, so we could go over each and every NFL game in detail, because I won't have bets on everyone, but I'll have information on everyone for you. Player props, first quarter, all that stuff. Teasers in the last 15 minutes like we did last year. So if you signed up, I think for a month or longer, you get the invite to the Steam Room. Don't miss it Sunday. Thanks again, Andy. Best of luck to you tomorrow in the UFC. I know you have a 5% going. You're going to smash that one, and have a good weekend, brother.
You too. Thank you very much, Gianni the Greek. Great week of Steam Reports, and now we get him every Friday on Football Friday to break down college and NFL. We keep Football Fridays moving. Let's bring in the one that can never be duplicated. Teddy covers. We're going to talk Chiefs Chargers. We're going to talk Alabama versus their old rival, the University of Louisiana Monroe. And then we're going to do Sell Me. This is going to be a first for us. I can't wait. Teddy, let's jump right into it. We have a strange game in Brazil tonight, Chiefs versus Chargers. Interested in how that fits into your handicapping and what's your breakdown on Chiefs and Chargers.
Sure. Just a quick addendum about what you and Gianni were just talking about when it comes to the bad NFL teams that get action every year. And we think back, the famous one was when the Browns went 0-16, and the wise guys run them every week. Last year, the Titans went 2-15 against the spreads, and it's got wise guy action every week. There's a commonality with the type of teams, the bad teams, the wise guys start to look for a month or so into the season, and that's good defensive numbers. The Titans last year had good defensive numbers on paper, but what the markets were missing on Tennessee, obviously, was that the offense was historically bad. And the reason that opponents weren't getting many yards per play against them or many yards against them, because they were always on short fields. So, and that happened with Cleveland too, where the defensive stats were great, but it's because the offense is so inept that you don't have to gain a whole lot of yards against them. So it's something to keep your eye on, absolutely, as this season progresses. But let's talk about tonight's game, the Chiefs and the Chargers. Looking right now at my Odds Logic live odds screen, I'm seeing Kansas City pretty much painted 3. A couple of sharp buddies of mine said we might see 3.5s for this game. I haven't seen them, and I imagine if we see them, they'll be brief because there'll be some take back on LA at plus 3.5. I'm pretty confident of that. Total has been bet up just this week, was 45 on Sunday night. Now we're looking at 47, even some 47.5s out there as we speak. So a little bit of over money and a little bit of Kansas City money. Now, when we talk about week 1 matchups, when we have 2 teams in the same division, what did we see last night? We saw dog and under, and that has been the historical trend for week 1 divisional matchups, dog and under, which is one of the things that could be keeping this line sitting at 3 right now. And of course, I mean, the Chiefs have owned the Chargers to the tune of 7-0 straight up the last 7 meetings. That being said, at plus 3, Kansas City would have covered a grand total of 2 of those 7 games, which speaks to how tight this series have been and how many close victories the Chiefs have been able to put together against the Chargers and everybody else. Kansas City obviously entering the season with an NFL record 17-0. 17-0 in games decided by 1 score. That's straight up, not ATS, obviously. That dates back to 2023. They had 11 last year in the regular season. They had the 3-point win over the Bills in the AFC Championship game. So Kansas City still in the midst of a historical streak of we win every close game every time, which the Chargers have suffered a fair few of those losses. Now, the Chiefs do fall into a pretty negative system. And by negative, I mean like it hasn't won since 1988. 12-0 ATS since 1988, going against the defending Super Bowl loser as a dog or favorite of 8 points or fewer in game 1 of the season, facing a divisional foe. That's 12-0. So that would be make a case for the Chargers from a technical standpoint. And of course, Mahomes played in the preseason. Herbert did not. In theory, advantage Kansas City. You know, a lot of things went dicey for the Chargers this August. Obviously, when you're talking about the loss of Rashawn Slater, their left tackle, that was where this line moved from 2.5 to 3, was right after Slater got hurt. And certainly, you know, Najee Harris didn't play. Quentin Johnson had issues. It's a Chargers team that Harbaugh's been really good week 1, you know, 5-0 against the spread in week 1. But it's a Chargers team that we look at the rest of the division, we look at Kansas City, the Chiefs are still better, at least in this bettor's opinion. So slight lean towards LA here. I'm expecting a close game tonight. +3 matters at +3.5. It would probably be a play on the Chargers for me. But in this point spread range, no surprise whatsoever. This game ends up as a push with the Chiefs winning by exactly a field goal.
Yeah, I have not heard anything about the field conditions this year. It's kind of hard to say. I know it kind of hurt Jordan Love for the entire season last year, this first game. Do you know much about the field that they're playing on? Have you heard anything about
Well,
it?
I know that last year was fast. You know, that when they played under Brazil, we ended up with, I think, 56 points scored in that ball game. So it wasn't a situation where the offenses couldn't move. But other than that, you know, I did not do a deep dive into the field conditions in Sao Paulo today. Just a memory of what happened last year.
Let's move to college football. Let's talk this Alabama team. They suffered an injury earlier this week. I call him my Twitter friend. He's an Alabama alum, and he absolutely hates this team, does not like the coach. He's just absolutely miserable. It feels like the Alabama fans are not a big fan of what's going on down there, but they're big favorites here in this one. How do you see this game going?
So it really is a fascinating game when we talk about Alabama and Louisiana Monroe. And for all you Bama fans that are hating on Kalen DeBoer, let's not forget Nick Saban's first year on the job. Nick Saban, best coach ever. First year on the job, ULM came into Tuscaloosa and pulled off the outright upset over Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide. That was back in 2007. That's the only victory ULM has ever had against Alabama. They played a couple of more recent meetings, none of which was close. But Nick Saban, as Alabama head coach, lost to Louisiana Monroe. Right now, look at the Odds Logic live odds screen. I'm seeing Alabama -35, down from 37.5 at the open. They're even 34.5s out there total in this game, sitting in the range of 50. And in my mind, this handicap comes down to a single question. And it doesn't have that much to do with Alabama. The question is, well, it has something to do with Alabama, but can Louisiana Monroe, can the Warhawks run the football? All right. If they can run the football and grind out first downs and take the crowd out of the game, I mean, you can get seats for this game for $10 right now. Your friend on Twitter, Andy, is not the only one in Alabama that's really concerned about the state of the program. Obviously, when you're losing to all these unranked teams, when the program doesn't appear to be where it was a year ago. And I'm talking to guys around town, and guys around town here in Vegas are like, yeah, I can't bet Alabama. I can't bet Alabama. I can't bet Alabama. There's a lot of negative sentiment. There's not any groundswell of support for Bama here in Vegas, not amongst the Crimson Tide community, and not amongst the general betting public right now. And in those type of situations, sometimes they tend to look towards the favorite. But it's a simple question handicap. You know, Louisiana Monroe, they're not going to throw the football around. Okay, they beat Nicholls State last week. They didn't throw the football well in that ball. It's all about, you know, and of course the coach Brian Vincent. Yeah, we're going to celebrate all victories. Victories are hard to come by in Division I football. I'm proud of our defense. Pulled off a shutout in that ball game, obviously. But this has not been a team that's been able to do anything against anyone. You know, they closed out. They had a hot start last year. Closed out the season 0-6 straight up, 1-5 ATS. They went to Texas last year. They lost 51-3. They got 7 first downs in that game. In 23, they lost 47-3 at Texas A&M. In 22, they lost 52-10 at Texas and 63-7 at Bama. In 21, they lost 45-10 at Kentucky. They've not been competitive or able to move the football in any of these step-up ball games. They ran the ball last week. Alabama got gashed on the ground. If ULM can run the ball here, they can shorten the game, and they can take the crowd out of it. The pressure gets higher and higher in Alabama, and it becomes a problem for the Crimson Tide. That being said, I'm not convinced that ULM is going to be able to run the football here. The price is getting cheaper and cheaper to support a Crimson Tide team with something to prove. And if Alabama gets rolling here, all right, if things would start working for Alabama at some point, it's not a scenario where I'm expecting them to take their foot off the gas pedal. It's a fourth quarter, we'll relax. No, we need good drives. So honestly, it's not a game, it's not a client play, but if I'm playing, I'm laying. I don't think the Warhawks are going to be able to run that football. And if I'm wrong and they're running the ball right out of the get-go, well, maybe you'll bet it the other way. But Alabama or pass for this better. This is an ugly dog, and I'm not asking bottom feeders to do much for me in college football. And for as bad as Alabama looked last week against Florida State, they're not a bottom feeder.
No, they're not. You said something about shutting out Nicholls State. I was just picturing if Nick Saban's team shut out Nicholls State, he'd still have something bad to say about our safety's got to play better. That's the difference. Nick Saban would have something bad. Oh, our left guard was terrible in that game or something. So I don't know why that popped in my head. All right, Teddy, let's play Sell Me. We're bringing on Dan here. And if you guys haven't watched this show, first off, shame on you. And thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. Here's how this segment works. Dan comes on and gives us a game that we don't know we're getting. And then he assigns us a team, and we have to make the case for why this team will cover the spread. This is a true impromptu segment here, Dan. We are ready. What is the game, and who gets what team?
All right, gentlemen, here's what I got for you. No, don't sell me this pen. Sell me this side. And we're talking the Bengals taking on the Browns. Yes, this one, you heard Gianni talking about it earlier. Sharp's really liking this Browns side. Actually, if you checked out Bet on it this week, is one of the plays that Marco likes as well, as looking towards the Browns. Teddy, why we thought you were perfect to do this Sell Me segment is because my years of working with you, nobody breaks down both sides of a game quite like Teddy Covers does. So for you, I want you to tell me why maybe the Browns have no shot at covering this 5.5 number. You are assigned to sell me on the Bengals, and Andy Lang, you'll have to sell me the side that I'm already leaning towards, which is the Browns. So a bit of an uphill battle for you here, Teddy, for the first sell me. The floor is yours. Bengals, Browns. Why are Bengals the right side?
It's easy to make a case. I think it's much harder to make a case for the Browns than it is to make a case for the Bengals in this ball game. There's a sentiment out there that Cincinnati's defense is going to be every bit as bad as it was last year. All right. We saw them in the preseason where Cincinnati's defense got lit up. Guess what? New coordinator Al Golden, and if you read any of the quotes from Cincy in August from the defense side of the football, A, every quote was like, we're better than what we looked. B, every quote is like, we're just running the basic vanilla schemes. We don't want anyone to see what we actually have. All right. So I think Cincy's defense is better than the betting markets are giving them credit for. And Joe Flacco is not the answer. Okay. Joe Flacco, I'll take if you want a good bet, Flacco interception, Flacco over interceptions, because he's going to chuck the ball up into traffic. And if Cincy's defense is better, they'll pick it off. That's what Flacco does. The Browns are bottom feeders. Take advantage week 1.
All right, there we go, Andy. Strong case there from Teddy Covers right out of the gate. Now you must sell me on the Browns. So, Andy, you're up, buddy. Sell me this pen.
Oh, well, there's a reason why there's a sentiment about the Bengals defense being horrific. They gave up 90-plus points in the preseason. And I know it was their backups, but just imagine how bad the starters are. You brought up Joe Flacco. If there's one game where he's fresh and healthy, it is this one. And what's the saying? Defense wins championships. Defense also covers spreads. I get the superior defense by far. I get the backdoor cover because I'm getting points here. And I get the wily veteran quarterback against a team who notoriously starts off slow under this head coach. This is an easy one for me to take the points. Better defense, healthy, fresh quarterback on the 1 week he may be healthy and fresh. It's an easy cover for me. Give me the Cleveland Brownies.
All right, end the round. Well done by both of these gentlemen. Apparently, according to our man SF Niner, we're all losers in that one for having to talk about the Bengals and the Browns. Great breakdowns by both these guys. Comment below right now and comment below after the video goes live. Who are you siding with? You taking the points, and it's around 5.5 with the Browns, or are you going with the Bengals? For me, I already put in my contest entry this week, guys, and I have the Browns. I feel much worse about it now after Teddy's breakdown, but I have the Browns, Teddy. The bet's already in. I'm sorry. So yeah, well done. Well done, Teddy.
I had the over last night, so having the right side doesn't matter if it doesn't cash. So
it's very fair. That's very
fair. You can have
fair.
the right side on Cleveland all you want. Since
all right, well done, gentlemen.
All right, Teddy, great job on Sell Me. What do you have up for clients this weekend?
So NFL Week 1 has been very, very good for me over the years. I had a very frustrating loss. That was, when they score in the first 8 possessions of the game and are about to score in the 9th before fumbling, you expect to cash those overs. Didn't happen last night. That being said, I'm expecting a big weekend. The NFL Week 1 prior to yesterday was 30-11, so now it's 30-12 over the last 10 years. 8-2 with the big tickets. Locked and loaded with 3 plays on Sunday, including a 5% big ticket. College football, I have a single best bet winner up right now. We'll load the rest of the card over the course of the next hour or two. Check out my page, wt.buzz/TC, and get on board. The 7-day, $77 all-access pass is absolutely the way to go. Get every play, every day, college football, NFL, MLB. Again, my homepage, wt.buzz/TC, or just check out the website, WagerTalk.com.
Teddy covers everyone, helping us out on Football Fridays. Great work, Teddy. Always fun to talk to you. Can't wait to do it again next week. We got Kelly coming up. We're going to go over the Super Contest. At the end, Dan and I are going to do Survivor picks. We got to bring in Marco here, and we want to remind you guys that our 7-day pass is still available, discounted down to $77. You can get it with Marco. It's a full week of every play, NFL, college football, any sport that we may have up, just $11 a day. Kick off football season, lock in all the sports. We got a huge weekend of plays. This is available for everybody. You can use it on myself, Marco, any handicapper at WagerTalk. But when we give out these discounts, make sure you're locking these in. This is on the deal page, or just go to any handicapper's page. Marco, we're going to break down an NFL game, your Steelers. We had to give you your Steelers. We're going to break down Oregon, and then we're going to do the sauce of the week. I can't wait for this segment. Marco picks one of his favorite wing sauces and compares it to a football team. So I can't wait for that. We're going to talk this particular game, Steelers versus Jets. How is your outlook for your Steelers going into this season? Just overall in general.
I don't have a freaking clue. To be honest with you, because this is the thing. All we've got is what we're told from camp. We haven't got to see anything, all right? You've got Aaron Rodgers comes to town, so obviously we've got all the buzz in Pittsburgh that now we've got the missing ingredient because all of a sudden, he's going to take the Steelers to the Super Bowl like he was going to take the Jets to the Super Bowl when he went there. He hasn't played a snap yet for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Why they decided not to use him in any preseason games is beyond me. You're in a brand new offense. You're a brand new team. You receivers you haven't played with, and you've got no chemistry to work with yet. And they say all the right things. Oh, practices have been great. Everything's good. You don't go game speed in practice. I'm sorry. Now, I know you have some of the in preseason where some of the teams do the joint scrimmages and so forth, but still, it's not total game situation. So now, going to New York, your guess is as good as mine. But what I like to do in week 1, and this fits this scenario for this particular game, is I like to listen to the noise that we hear during the off season. And I did this, last week on Bet On It when we were talking college football. The Auburn-Baylor game. All you heard coming into this season was how good Baylor finished last season, how good this team's going to be improved this year. Auburn, Hugh Freeze, and all the problems that they've had. It was just too much. I was all over Auburn last week. I am going to be on the Jets here. Okay. In the narrative that I really love and is the most stupidest thing that I have heard is everybody saying, just wait. Aaron Rodgers is going back to New York. he's going to show them why they made a mistake not re-signing him. You know what? Stop that bullshit right now, okay? Because you know what? He had 2 years in New York. No, I'm sorry. He had 1 year and 4 plays, and he got paid $40 million. He should take the entire town out for dinner, okay, and thank them for that gift that he got. You know who's got something to prove? It's Justin Fields. Justin Fields is the guy that didn't get the proper opportunity. And I'll be honest with you, when it was the offseason and we're trying to figure out the quarterback situation in Pittsburgh, and I hate to admit it, but I was pro Justin Fields. I thought he was the most logical choice. Give him a chance. He didn't stink the joint up last year. He got 6 starts. He went 4-2. And because they had to play Russell Wilson, you know, that was the guy they signed. The only reason they signed Russell Wilson is because it was a gift. When somebody offers you a free dinner, you're going to take it. Might not be the best dinner, but you're going to try it out. And that's what they did with Russell Wilson. They got him for $1 million because Denver paid the rest of the contract. They should have gave Justin Fields the opportunity. Now he gets the chance to show Pittsburgh what they made the mistake. Go ahead and give me the Jets. We saw the sharp money come in on this game. This thing was 3 all along. We saw it come down to 2.5. Here's a spot where normally we tell you, hey, jump on the number right away. I said this when I did the show on Bet On It. Wait on this one, okay? Because if it goes from 2.5 to 2, what did you lose? But we get that half a point back, which I think once the public gets involved on Sunday, they're going to bet the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers. We might see that 3 pop up again. But I'm going to tell you, if you see it, grab it fast because the sharps are going to grab and pick off the 3s as soon as they pop back up on the screen.
Well, if Russell Wilson was a gift, I mean, it looks like you guys kept the receipt and returned it. Like, it was not a great. No, you gave it to somebody else next year for Christmas. You rewrapped it. Yeah, Russell Wilson a gift. Amazing. Well, let's talk OK State and Oregon. We had a monster spread here as well. It's a weird spread too because they give you this huge number and then they just like some books will just tack a half point onto it. So you have 28 and then like 28.5. Like, so obviously they don't have a whole lot of faith in Oklahoma State. Do you in this game?
Well, I want to know who in the scheduling department at WagerTalk I pissed off to get this game. Okay, let me know what I did. I'll fix it, okay? All the games on the card, and this is the one we're going to look at. But you know what? It's a game. There's going to be a winner. There's going to be a loser, and I can break it down. You look at Oklahoma State. They ended, congratulations to this one here with Coach Gundy. He broke 2 streaks. Impressive. He snapped the 9-game losing streak. Congratulations on that. More importantly, you snapped the 8-game streak of allowing 38 or more points. So you know what? Things are looking good there in Stillwater. But how excited do we get? Let's be honest. You beat Tennessee Martin 27-7. All right, you lost your starting quarterback in the first quarter, broken foot. Enter 3rd-year freshman. Okay, again, and I love college football now. We have 5th-year seniors. You have 3rd-year freshmen. Back when I went to school way back in the day, if you were in the same grade 3 years, you were dumb. Okay, I don't want how we rate these guys now. But you got Zane Flores taking over at quarterback, and he came in. They ran 72 plays last week against Tennessee Martin for a whopping 359 yards. All right, that's not good. I think it's under 5 yards. Play. What was really bad? They had 127 yards on the ground with 42 carries. You're playing Middle Tennessee State, okay? Or I'm sorry, Tennessee Martin. All those small little sisters of the poor in Tennessee are all the same. You're going against Oregon's defense this week, okay? God bless you. Good luck if you're going to score any points. Now, on the Oregon side, the easy thing and the squarest thing to do in this game is to just take Oregon and lay the points. But, I'm not a guy that likes that kind of chalk. I'm not somebody that likes something that's square going down my throat. Nope, don't want that. So I'm not taking Oregon. What I am going to look at in this one is I'm going to look at the under, because I really don't see this Oklahoma State team having any success offensively in this game. And being that it's only, officially week 2, I don't count that week 0 as a week. It is week 2. There's no need for talking about what we'll talk about later in the season, which I hate talking about it, but people have to. Oh, we need style points. Let's run up the score. It's too early in the season to worry about that. You get in, you get out. And if Oklahoma State is as bad offensively in this game as I think they will be, we might have Oregon tossing a shutout. And, if you're an under better, you love to see a team tossing the shutout as long as possible, because then, they're playing hard defense the whole way through. I think Oregon gets a big lead early. I think they take the air out of the football. I think because you're playing at home early in the season, that's when you you get some other players into the game, get their names, officially in the stat book and get there. I like under 55.5, and we have seen the betting go that way as well throughout the week. Early in the week, this game took action on the under, and as I always say, when you look at line movement early in the week, okay, it's sharp money more often than recreational money. Recreational people bet game day on the weekends, and I can guarantee you recreational bettors are never running to the window to bet an under when the spread is 4 touchdowns, okay? Because they automatically the line's this high, they're going to be a ton of scoring. That's,
Yeah.
Okay, so there's your lesson in public service address for this week.
Well, Marco, it was a pretty bad week of slates. Would you rather have broken down the Texas Tech Kent State game with a 47.5 point spread? I mean, there's some massive slaughters that are going to be happening this weekend. So, all right, Marco, it's time for your sauce of the week. It's a new segment. Marco picks a wing sauce and compares it to a team. I have no idea what sauce or what team that he's picked. So, all right, Marco, what's the sauce of the week and what's the team?
Well, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to bitch here. We're going to talk about false advertising, okay? And the false advertising is this establishment was just promoting, ad nauseum. I got tired of listening to it. We've got a new sauce, a new flavor, man. It is going to be spicy. We've got Arch Manning, okay? We've got the bloodlines. We've got the pedigree. It's all great. And then they brought my plate of wings out, and I'm like, I wanted to throw them back at. What is this plain sauce that you brought me to this table? Where is the spice? Sure, what were you calling inside the 10-yard line? Oh, wait, I got it. Let's bunch everybody up and run Arch Manning right up the middle and see if we can push it in. No, you're not the Philadelphia Eagles. You're not Jalen Hurts. And we're not going to do the push and get a touchdown. The play calling, I know Arch Manning got a lot of the heat, that he didn't have a good game. There's no question he didn't. But you know what? As much of the blame in that game's got to go on the guy back in the kitchen putting the meal together. The game plan absolutely sucked. So false advertisement for Texas and what we were going to see and what that flavor was going to be. So I was expecting a spicy sauce, and I got bland, not even just a touch of Frank's hot sauce in there. There was nothing in that, what we saw. But you know what was fun? I don't know. X, Twitter, they always win. I love all of the memes that came out afterwards and the stuff that you can do with AI now. Did you see the one with the Manning brothers? Peyton.
Oh yeah, there were so many of them. They were great.
When he threw the interception, and he goes, oh no. And Peyton goes, I told you he was freaking adopted. That was the best. I loved it. So there we go. Fun segment. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, so we got a bad chef, bland sauce. Yeah, that was Texas putting up one score. So great stuff, Marco. I know you've done very, very well in college football and NFL. Tell everyone what you have up for this weekend.
Well, guys, big week last week. We went 4-0. I did start this week. I'll jump on the misery train with Teddy. I had an over as well. I didn't have the game over. I had the Philadelphia Eagles team total over last night at 27.5. I'm watching the game on my phone. I put it away at halftime because then we end up having that long delay anyways, because I was at the Aces game last night. So, there I am at WNBA game, game of the year with the Lynx and the Aces. And I got my phone out watching the football game. I thought I was golden. Both teams were going up and down the field in the first half. No way I'm not going to get to 27.5 there. So thank God, we split for the night. We had our prop bet. We cashed that in the third quarter again with a prop. I'm just loving the WNBA, guys. But segue, get the 7-day all-access package, because when you do that, you get everything that we have. You'll get my baseball. You'll get my WNBA plays. You'll get the football. Like I said, 4-0 last week. Going back to the start of last season, we are currently number one at WagerTalk in money won, college and NFL combined. This way you miss no plays. You get it all. Last 23 days, we're up 30 units, $100. So that's over $3,000 profit in the last 3 weeks. So everything is going good. Check out Bet on It. A lot of stuff there. And since we were talking about food and wings, made me hungry and made me remember I got to promote the Deli's Open. We brought back a second season of the show, Marco's Deli. That will be posted each week late on Thursdays or very early on Fridays. This week's edition is out. If you like what I do on Bet on It with the sandwich games, we've got sandwich games, we've got trap games, we've got situations to be aware of. I alert you to. And guys, always remember this. I can give you a winner, and that's a 1 unit profit. But if I give you information that saves you on a potential loser and you take a loser off your card, I actually did better for you because I saved you 1.1 units. So it's a very good information-packed show. It's a short show, generally 10 to 15 minutes. Get in, get out, and get some good information. Check it out on our WagerTalk .tv YouTube channel.
All right, Marco D'Angelo, everyone. Great breaking it down. Can't wait for the wing sauce. I can't wait to see what sauce we're doing in like 15 weeks. It's gonna be gonna be scratching for some obscure ones. Have a great weekend, Marco. Thanks very much. Real quick, guys, 5% UFC best bet is up. We're going to add some more plays. We got done watching weigh-ins, learned some things there. So 5% UFC plays up. Week 1 NFL pack is up. We already got 3 plays up for tonight's game alone. We only had 1 last night. Easy winner. You're going to get all of our prop plays all the way through Monday Night Football for week 1. It's a great price. All props. These are plays that we bet with our money. And we have our 4% college football team total of the week that's up. We've hit 67% of those totals in college football, which is what we specialize in. We don't do spreads, only team totals in college football. 67% lifetime on those. So all of those are available, wt.buzz/AL. All right, it's contest time. Let's bring in Kelly. Kelly, you were not the only one that noticed when Marco said something about something square being ran down the throat. I saw the look on your face. I was like, Kelly, get your head out of the gutter.
Well, I'm just sitting here waiting in the wings. Like, I got some other stuff going on. Johnny Detroit texting me, and then all of a sudden it was like, wait, what, Marco? What did you just say?
Don't worry, we'll clip that. It'll make its rounds on social media.
Okay. Well, we're gonna need that for the outtakes for the Christmas party.
All right, so it's contest time. It's week 1. We're going to go over your picks. What contests are you in? And then let's get to your picks.
I'm trying to figure out why I didn't brush my hair before the show. No, all jokes aside, this is what I get. Been sitting here waiting for like 40 minutes to come on. I don't know why. Tonight, I got the Chargers. I took them +3 in the Westgate SuperContest. Look, here's the reality. I'm playing against the Super Bowl losers. Do it every single first week of the year. It's tough finding 5 plays that I like. I already had the Cowboys last night +8.5. When it went to 7.5, I thought, all right, I got to get involved. I didn't want to. but divisional dogs are the name of the game week 1. I'm pretty sure you guys listen to Ralph Michaels. He will tell you that. So we're going to take a bunch of divisional dogs, starting with the Chargers tonight. Kelly has bedhead. No, Kelly did not get enough sleep last night, comment section. That is the problem. I think the rest of us were up till 1 a.m. Eastern. Not my greatest showing. Next up, I took the Browns. They're just like Dan did. And this is the reality. This is a Joe Burrow team, 1-4 straight up in his first 5 seasons in week 1. We saw it last year. At home, they lose to the Patriots. The one caveat John Murray said yesterday on the Kelly and Murray show, well, at least they're on the road this year. They usually lose game 1 at home. Ralph Michaels even DM'd me and said, Cal, don't forget, this is why they made them play in the preseason, to try to get rid of some of those jitters. All points taken. Again, give me Joe Flacco plus the points. 5.5. That's like one of my favorite lines in the NFL. It is always so fishy. If the Browns are so bad, why aren't they a touchdown underdog at home? Speaking of touchdown underdogs, the New York Giants. Yeah. What am I going to say about the Giants? There's not a lot good to say, Andy, about the New York Giants. Okay. So we're going to talk about why I don't like the Commanders in a divisional matchup this week. 13 one-score games. They won 9 of those last year, guys. 13 of them. Think they're due for a little regression to go the other way. I like Jaden Daniels. I think he's going to be fine for them long term. But let's look at some of these second-year quarterbacks. They tend to struggle. We get the defensive coordinators on their side or against their side, and people start to put some pressure on them. Again, not a play on the Giants. I'm not some Giants believer, but as we've seen, the rest of the NFC East is going to take a step forward. I think the Giants will be better than advertised. Washington 3-9 outright, 2-10 against the spread in the division as a home favorite from our good friend Mark Lawrence, including 1-7 against the spread as a favorite of 6 or fewer points. Give me the Giants plus 6. And my last play is super square. And no, I don't care. I'm betting against a rookie quarterback on the road. Teddy said it. Are the Titans only going to cover 2 games this year? No, they may cover half of their games. Cam Ward is solid. We saw him coming from Miami. He pulled out so many games last year for that team. He's going to pull out some games for the Titans, but I don't think it's going to be on the road against this good Denver defense. 8.5 is a lot. I teased them. That's probably gone. Looks like some 9s on the odds logic screen. I did also just run it across the board, Andy, just straight across the board, except for 2 plays on Splash Sports. I used the Eagles last night in Survivor. My other 12, I counted them earlier, 12 other Survivors that I'm in, including the 5K at the Westgate. Superbook, we're going Denver. We're going Denver. This is the spot to use Denver, and we're going all in.
You're in 12 Survivor. That's lunacy. That's that's lunacy. You're going to forget to submit a pick.
That's just on Splash. I'm on 12. I also have 2 Circa and 1 Westgate 5K. So
it's insanity. All right, so we got Dallas, which you've already cashed. You got the Chargers tonight, Giants plus 6, Browns plus 5.5, Broncos minus 7.5. All right, so Kelly's going to try and join us most Fridays. We're going to talk about these contests, but here's how it's going to work to start the season. If Kelly has a winning week, she comes back next week, does picks. We go until she has a losing week, then somebody else comes on and gives it a shot. This is hard. Do people realize how hard this is to pick 5 games?
5 games is so hard. So actually, one of the reasons why Chris and I did the 5K at Westgate is like, okay, I'm going to do my one super contest I do every single year. I've been doing it for 15 years now, but I elected not to do the Circa Millions, even though there was still some overlay. I think the overlay is not going to be significant. It is so hard to pick 5 games against a spread. And then when you have multiple pick 5s, oh my God, it is god awful to try to bet 7-8 games in the NFL. I did a bunch of teasers. I know Teddy Covers told me on an opening line report not to do it, but I did it anyway.
Love it. Queen of the contest, the streets are saying. Yes, absolutely. The streets. That's what they're saying, Kelly. So, all right. What do you have to promote? Where can we find you at? What are you up to these days?
Yeah, tomorrow morning we're going to be on Last Call, hour before college football kicks off. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited for this football season. Did not start off red hot, but that's okay. So we're going to have VR. Kick it off early with us. Art DeCesar, Sean Alvarez coming in to talk some college football. Monday, Teddy and I are back opening line report. Then I'm going to hang out with Bill Krakenberger for about half an hour. We're going to touch base and see how his first week of NFL went. Of course, we're going to be back with Bet on Wednesday. And then hopefully I went 5-0 this weekend in the Westgate Super Contest, so I can be back here on Friday afternoons.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kelly. Can't wait to we're going to see you again. You got a 4-1 week in you. I can feel it already. I think the Giants are going to trip you up. That's my prediction.
Maybe.
Everyone's on the Giants. It's just
I know. They're the dog with fleas.
Yeah. All right,
It's
Kelly.
too late. See, that's the hard part. When you put in the Thursday night game, you've got to commit early in the week to all 5 of your plays. That's the one hard part about doing it. It is what it is. I'll take the Dallas W. No sweat last night.
Absolutely. Great stuff. Kelly's going to be joining us every Friday on Football Friday. All right, let's do all around the world. We got some free plays, and we're going to wrap it up with our survivor picks. We got a couple dynamite plays to go over. So let's do a couple player props here. Go to the Chiefs and the Chargers. I really like Pacheco tonight over 11 and a half rush attempts. I know we've got some comments in the chat talking about Pacheco, maybe him to score. Listen, he's finally healthy. He played 2 games last year and he broke his leg. He was not the same, but in those 2 games, he had 15 and 19 carries. In 2023, he played 18 games and he went over in 15 of those games. I think this number is entirely too low. Close game. Chiefs not going to abandon the run game. Look for him to get over his rush attempts. Cardinals at the Saints. James Conner, anytime touchdown score. It's a little bit juicy. So was Jalen Hurts last night, and we cashed that one. He scored in 8 games last year. Saints allowed an average of over 1 rushing touchdown per game last year. I think they stink when they get in close. Conner is their man. Give me James Conner to have a score. Houston at Rice. This comes from Sean Alvarez. This is on the WagerTalk free picks page. There's tons of free picks up there today, guys, to get you ready for the weekend. He swept the board last week in college football. He likes Rice. Plus 14, their new triple option offense. They pulled the upset last week. The offense really slows the game down. Houston defense is tough, but the offense did not look great against a very weak team. Too many points were taken, all those 14 with Rice. And I ran this play by our tennis department, and they loved it. We're going to take a U.S. Open parlay here. We're going to take Carlos Alcaraz on the money line. He's playing Djokovic, and I got to tell you, Dan, I watched Djokovic play last game. He was exhausted. He won barely. He was falling off a cliff. Alcaraz, this is a huge revenge spot for him. He's lost 2 in a row to Djokovic. He looks very, very dialed in. Give me Alcaraz as a favorite. I'm going to parlay that with Sinner minus 5.5 games. Listen, FAA has played tough guys this tournament. Sinner's number 1 in the world. He's way above anybody else in tennis besides Alcaraz and probably Djokovic. They played a couple weeks ago. Sinner beat the brakes off of him 6-0, 6-2. I only need to win 3 sets here, minus 5.5. Parlay that together. It gets the full support of our tennis department. All right. Let's bring in Dan and let's do our survivor picks here, Dan. So I entered way more than I thought we were going to. I bet online. I think we got like 15 entries into the.
We're just giving Kelly shit for having 12, and you have 50, so you neglected to share that.
Well, we have 15 entries in one contest. She's in 12
separate
contests.
See, I wouldn't be able to keep up with like entering in. I would 100% miss several picks a week because I would have to go to different pages. Like as long as they're in one place, and I also have you to rely on to actually get my pick in. I think I shouldn't get eliminated solely on not entering a pick.
Yeah. 12 is nuts. So anyway, here's what we're going to do. Dan and I are going to give you our picks, and we're going to try and make it as far as we possibly can, and we're going to make it to the end, and we're going to retire off of Dave Mason.
and I told you, Andy, before the show started, I said, just wait for the intro graphic that I have for this segment. So I worked really hard on this. This is the I Will Survive.
Oh, no.
I didn't mean to have you have so much cleavage, Andy. I'm sorry. I didn't realize it until after it was made. But this is I Will Survive, the Andy Lang and Dan Alexander story. So hopefully we get some mileage out of this puppy and those puppies. Yeah.
All righty. You know this is permanent now, right? You know everyone can see that.
I know. But now Andy's like, shit, I really hope your pick loses so I never have to see that graphic again. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to do a few things with our different entries. So let's pull up what our picks are here.
Yep, here we go.
That's great. All right, so Dan, you're going with the Broncos. I'm going with the
Yep.
Cardinals. One of our entries, we're just going to do the biggest favorite of the week and see how long that goes until we have a big upset. So that happens to be the Broncos. And then I want to run the Dolphins by you. So Dan, quick couple words on the Broncos.
Yeah, well, for me, when I'm playing Survivor contests, I try and find good spots to use teams, looking at their schedule, looking forward. Like, it's not only, all right, let me scan down the board and find who the biggest favorite is, and then, all right, let me just eat that chalk. Because we know in the NFL, like last night, the Eagles were almost 9-point favorites, and that was a little bit dicey. That money line could have gotten home, that plus 400. So it's not just finding chalk and riding with chalk. For me, this is the best spot, in my opinion, to use Denver. And you also get to hold on to a couple teams that maybe you're going to be wanting to use down the pike. I mean, you and I, when we did our team previews, we both pretty bullish on the Broncos. I mean, me more so than you. I think they have a chance to win this division, and they're playing a Tennessee Titans team who's going to have a rookie quarterback trotting out there. You know, they really don't have much in the way of playmakers, and they're going to be facing off against the Broncos defense that, Andy, if they're not, best defense in the league, they're certainly top 3, at least on paper heading into the year. So I really like the defensive matchup that they have against a rookie quarterback. This is a team who's going to be ultra motivated to start off the year with the splash, and they know how tough things are in division. So I don't think there's going to be the case of Denver skating by against bad teams. I think this is going to be a kind of team who beats up on bottom feeders, and they compete with teams in the top. I want to get the Broncos in there early. This is the best spot to use them.
Okay.
So I know it's the most popular pick of the week. They're the biggest favorite too. So this could be last year's Bengals knocking out a bunch of people. Sure, I'm
Yes.
worried about that. But on paper,
Yeah.
man, this is the survivor pick for me.
All right. I'm going to go with the Cardinals. I don't know how many times I'm going to find a spot where I like the Cardinals this year. So when they're playing the Saints, if I can get this win over the Cardinals, I save all the really good teams. I kind of think the Cardinals might be good, but I know the Saints are bad. I know their defense is not good, and I know their quarterback situation is not good. So trying to save as many good teams for later on, I'll go with the Cardinals this week. If the Saints are as bad as I think they are, that'll be a popular way for me
they
to
could be the
pick
play
Survivor.
against. Like there's a path that you can take
Yes.
that you can exclusively play against, the Panthers, the Saints, and that's another strategy that maybe we do with one of our 15 entries. This is also a great chance here, Andy. We have people hanging out with us over an hour, 3,300 plus people watching. We appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, tell folks about the show. Football Fridays are massive here on WagerTalk Today, and we appreciate you joining us. But with people hanging out, no show behind us, we got a question here. SF Niner, Ravens survivor pick. He's asking about Jacksonville. You and I both said, playing the Ravens, I want to hold on to the Ravens. Yeah, and I want to hold on to the Ravens because there's also a situation that when you get around Thanksgiving, you have to make a play on these 3 Thanksgiving Day games. The fourth one is the Eagles playing the Bears on the Friday game there. So those are also things that you have to take into account, is the weeks that you have to make double picks, the weeks that you have to pick on holidays, on Christmas. So even if that was not the case, taking on Buffalo, that's a ballsy pick, but there's going to be a better spot to use Baltimore than opening night against a rival. Sure, they have the revenge. As far as the game goes, yeah, I like Baltimore. I would probably look, you can bet them anywhere from a pick 'em to a 1-point favorite. I would rather bet Baltimore than pick them in a survivor and burn myself in week 1. What do you think about that?
I want Ravens when they play an NFC team. NFC teams,
Good point.
They're not used to playing Lamar. It's a first half absolute blitz. They're not ready for it. You cannot simulate Lamar Jackson in practice. And these NFC teams that haven't seen him before, his record against NFC teams is incredible. So I want to save them. You have to save Philly for Thanksgiving. You and I were saying maybe even the Chiefs. Maybe, the Bears, you got, there's only 4 games to pick from, and they're competitive. There's Green Bay versus Detroit. The Chiefs have a fairly tough matchup, so you got to hang on to those teams. You got to map it out. So let's go with the Broncos, have a big week. Cardinals.
Yep.
Here's the case for the sleeper with the Dolphins is you're going to get Tua healthy, and my Colts stink. We've got Daniel Jones. You can fade Daniel Jones. I know the Dolphins have a lot of bad vibes around them, but you're at least going to get a healthy Tua, and you're never going to want to pick the Dolphins for the rest of the season. So
yeah,
that
at least you have healthy Tua. Andy, I like this Dolphins pick too. I'm going to be recording with my buddy Adam Rosenberg. We have an entry in the Circa Million. So each week we're going to give out our 5 picks here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Right when I'm done with this show, I'm recording with him.
Nice.
One of our plays on the card this week is the Dolphins. He's a little bit more bullish on it than I am, but the reasoning behind it is sound, and you can find that here on the YouTube channel. The show is going to be called Let's Make Millions. So stay here. Make sure you're subscribed. You'll see when that goes live. Andy, before we sign off, I know we went long. You probably got it wrong, but we have a loyal viewer, S. Warrior. He's just joining us. He said, yeah, we love S. We love all the viewers here who keep on commenting. But he said, hey, I haven't gotten to catch live in a while. He's asking what we're on tonight. I know, Andy, you mentioned Pacheco, probably one of your favorite plays, Pacheco rushing over, correct?
Pacheco overs rush attempts, 11.5.
Gotcha.
That's one of my favorite.
Yeah,
we got 3 up for clients. I'll give you another one. This is a rinse and repeat every week. Justin Herbert to not throw an interception. He had 3 regular season games where he didn't throw an interception. I know he looked terrible in the playoffs. I think that's why we're getting a discount. Rinse and repeat every single week. We're going to have a winning record. So as long as this stays below minus 160, minus 170, we're playing it. Jalen Hurts. I mean, what do we do with Jalen Hurts, Dan? Just
rushing touchdown.
Jalen Hurts to score a touchdown every week.
I don't care what the juice is. Jalen Hurts rushing touchdown. He got 2 of them. Andy, for me in the game tonight, I kind of see it the way that Kelly does. I want to fade the Chiefs off of that Super Bowl loss. Sao Paulo, Brazil, that field is absolute oatmeal. Going to be very tough to be tackling players. So over is a good look, I think, tonight. But for me, give me the points with the Chargers, or you could leave the points at the door. I think they win outright. Chargers outright for me to play, Andy.
Love it. Love it. All right. That's
a football Friday. That's how you do a football Friday.
Big football Friday. We're going to do this every single Friday, so we're going to get you ready for the weekend. And thank you so much. Been a great week of shows. Make sure you hit the like button. Leave us a comment in the comment section who you are taking for your survivor pool. Can't wait to see this. I imagine there's going to be a lot of Broncos picks in there. We'll see. So thanks so much for joining us, guys. Remember, 5% UFC best bet is up, 4% college football, and our NFL Week 1 props, all props that we're betting with our own money all the way through Monday Night Football. Available, WT.buzz/AL. Thanks so much for the chat. You guys have been awesome. Leave a comment below. Good luck on all your plays, and we'll see you Monday. Take care.